Hello and welcome to this video. I am Sumit Bansal, and this video is a part of an Excel hash challenge that was thrown by Microsoft MVP Oz. Now, the way this challenge works is Oz has given us some features, some functions, and we need to use these features and functionalities and create something out of it. Now, this could be a solution that is practical or it could be completely unusable. But the idea here is that we need to use all the ingredients that Oz has given us. And this is inspired by a cooking challenge where if you have seen MasterChef, then there's a mystery box and you get a couple of ingredients and you have to use all of this to create a coherent dish. Now, many of the amazing Excel folks around the world are participating in this, and you can go and watch their videos. I'll have a link of the playlist in the description. And here are the 4 ingredients that Oz has given us. So the first one is lambda function. The second is dynamic arrays. The third one is the cutout of people. So it is more like an outline of people that you can use. And the fourth one is the even function. So there were a couple of more ingredients, but these are the 4 that I have chosen. Now, what I have to do is use all of this to make something which is a single coherent solution. And what I have made is a shared expense calculator. So you can use this shared expense calculator. Let's say if you are 3, 4, or 5 people and you're taking a trip together, then you record all your expenses, what it was spent for, who made the expense, and then this calculator is going to instantly calculate and tell you who owes whom how much money. I'll have a link to download the template in the description so you can download and have a look at it. Now let's get into the video. So this is the shared expense calculator that I have created, where on the left you have this table where you can enter the details. So you can enter the date, what you have paid for, so the details of that here, how much money has been paid and who has paid for it. And you can see here I have a drop down, so you can choose these names. Now in this calculator I have included 5 people, but if you want you can increase and have more people or have less people. You can easily adjust this. And once you have made these entries, then this part would update. So let's do this. Let's change this to 21 and let's say it's for car rentals, and let's say the value is 850 and it's being paid by Carrie. Now for this to update, you'll have to refresh this sheet. This is because I'm not allowed to use VBA and because I'm using Power Query in the backend. So somehow I need to refresh the Power Query. So to do that, you go to the data tab and here you have the refresh all option. And what I've done is I've added this to the quick access toolbar. So I always have access to it. And you can also use the keyboard shortcut Control Alt F5. Now, when I click on this, you'll see that this is going to update. So here now it tells me that these are the people in red that need to pay this much money to these people in green. So Sherry needs to pay $910 to Charles, and James need to pay $680 to Charles, and so on. So as you enter the details here in this table and refresh this, this is going to automatically update. Now let's see how this is made. So let me take you to the backend sheet here. And this is where I have the names of all these people. If you want to add more names or delete names, you can do that here. This is the table where I have done the calculation, and this is where I get the result. So let me quickly take you through this table. All these names are fetched from this table. If you add more or delete more names, this table would automatically get updated. The paid column is how much money each of these people have paid. So 2,500 is what Charles has paid, and the data is here. So I've simply used this column and used a simple sum if formula where it finds out how much money Charles has paid and how much money each of these people have paid. The O column is where I have how much money everyone owes. So in this case, it would be the sum of all the money that has been paid or all the expenses divided by the number of people. So Charles, although he paid this much, he should have paid 910. So he's going to get some money back. And in case of Sherry, while she paid nothing, she should have paid 910. So she would have to give 910. And this is the column where I calculate the difference. So 1590 is the amount that Charles is going to get back. And 290 is what Alexander would get back. And these values in negative is what these people would have to pay. Now, I have created this total adjusted column because in this case, I wanted to get a ranking of people who are going to get paid. What is the ranking of Charles and Alexander based on these values, which in this case would be Charles would be number 1, Alexander would be number 2. And similarly, in case of people who have to pay, what is the ranking, which means that these people who have to pay the maximum amount of money should be 1 and then 2 and then 3. So to do that, because there are same values, if I use the rank function, it is going to give me the same result, and I don't want that. I want 1 for this and 2 for this, which means I want different values. So what I've done is I have used this value, but I have added a very small number to it, which is rho divided by a huge denominator. What it does is it practically keeps this value same, but still makes it distinct so that the rank function can give me different rank. So what I've done is I have used the rank equivalent function, and for values that are positive, I have got the ranking here. So people who need to get paid, the ranking is here. So Charles is number 1, Alexander is number 2, and people who would be paying, this is the ranking where this is 1, 2, and 3 for these people. Now, with this data, I have to calculate how much money should these people pay the people who are in positive here. So these people need to pay these people here. And to do that, I've used this matrix where I have the names of people who will be paying here and the names of people who will get paid here. So you can see I have used a simple XLOOKUP formula where I use these rank values and I fetch the names. So Charles and Alexander here, and Sherry, James and Carrie here. Now, this is the formula that does all the calculation, and I'll not get into the exact formula. You can download the file and go through it in detail. But what it does is it checks how much money can Sherry pay to Charles. And after Sherry has paid Charles, does she have more money that she can pay? So in this case, Charles needs to be paid 2,500 and Sherry can only pay 910 because that is how much money she owes. So this value will find out the minimum of what Charles needs to be paid and what Sherry can pay and put that value here. If this value exhausts Sherry's amount, which is 910, then she is not going to pay anyone else in the list. But if it does not exhaust what Sherry can pay, then she would continue to pay the people in the list. Similarly, here Charles gets paid 910 by Sherry, but he still needs more money because what he's owed is 1590. So he still owes 680. That would be paid by James. And then if it is not paid completely by James, if it's more money that Charles owed, then that would be paid by Carrie, which is not the case in this case. Similarly, if you go down, you will see that James can pay 910 because that's how much he's owed, but he only pays 680 to Charles. And by the time he pays 680 to Charles, Charles has got all his money back. So he will pay Alexander because he still needs to pay some money. Then Alexander has only got 230 while he was supposed to get 290. So that would be paid by Carrie, which is 60 here. And that is the exact amount that Carrie owed. So if you have more people, this matrix would automatically update and you will get the right result here. Now, with this data, I have my result, but it is still not in a readable format. It's in a format where I will have to go through each of these cells and calculate the amount. So I don't want this. I want to unpivot this data. So I have a data in a pivot format where it simply gives me Charles would be getting paid by Sherry and this is the amount that he would be getting paid. So to do that, I used Power Query to unpivot this data. So I selected this entire matrix and I named it result. And I then used Power Query to unpivot this. So you can come here in the result tab and you can see I have the final result in this case, which is linked with Power Query. So let me quickly show you how Power Query has worked. Yeah. So here, this was my source data that I got into Power Query. Then the first thing I did was promote headers. It happens automatically. I unpivoted the data, and the way you do it is you come to this column and here you right click and you go to unpivot other columns and it is going to do that. Then I filtered this data because this is the unpivoted data I got, but I do not want all these blanks. I want to remove these blanks. So I came to this column and I removed all the blanks. So I only have these values and this is the data I want. And it gives me exactly the right thing that I'm looking for. Charles is going to get this much money from Sherry and here's the value. Charles is going to get money from James and here's the value. So then I renamed the column and I made it who gets the money, who pays and how much is the money. And then I reordered these. So it's in a better format where Sherry pays Charles this much money and James pays Charles this much money. And then closed and loaded this in the worksheet. So this is what I get. Now, if you are not really interested in cutouts and all the fancy arrows, you already have the result. If you're using this shared expense calculator, this is exactly what you want. You can have more people in the backend, less people in the backend, and this is the result. You immediately know that this person needs to pay this person this much money. But I needed to make it more visual. So let me take you to the images tab here. Here in the images tab, I have the names, all these cutouts, and this is where calculation is done and presented in a way that I can then finally put it here in the expense calculator. Now, let me quickly explain what happens, and I'm not going to go into the detail of each formula, but you can download the file and then go through it. What happens is I have these names, I have these cutouts, and I have these people's name who are supposed to pay and these people's name who are supposed to get paid along with the amount. And this is very simple. I've got this data from the Power Query result I got. So I simply refer, this cell refers to this part here, and who gets the money is this part, again refers to the Power Query result, and the same for amount. Now what I need to do is I somehow need to figure out what's the name in this cell and then go through this list. So if the name here is Sherry, I want to go through this list, go to Sherry, then get the reference for this cell because that is what I'm going to use in this image. And you can see in this part here, I'm referring to a name range called image_1. But the way picture lookup works is you have to refer to a cell reference and then this image is going to give you the image of that cell reference. For example, if I enter B2 here, it is going to give me the image of cell B2. So this needs to be a cell reference, or it could be a named range that refers to a cell reference. So in my case, I'm referring to image_1. Now, let me quickly explain how this is working. For each of these images, I have created a named range. So if I go to the formula tab and click on name manager, you'll see that I have these named ranges image_1, image_2, and each of these image then refer to a formula called image lookup 1. And this image lookup formula then again refers to a lambda formula that returns the reference based on the name. So I'm doing this because this makes it really easy. I can have my entire formula for each of these named ranges, but then that would be a lot messier. So instead I've used the lambda function in this case. So let me remove this and quickly explain what is happening. So what happens is this cell reference has the value image lookup 1 and this would have the value image lookup 2. So these have value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And image lookup 1, when this happens, I somehow want Excel to understand that 1 refers to cell D1 and 2 refers to cell H1 and then 3 refers to D2 and 4 refers to H2 and so on. And when that is done, then I wanted to fetch the name, which is Sherry in this case or Charles in this case. So to do that, I'm going to use the offset formula, which is here. And this offset formula gives me the name in the cell. And then I'm going to use the name in the XLOOKUP formula to get the reference of the cell that has the image. So if it is Sherry, then it is going to give me B5. And if it is, let's say, James, then it is going to give me B6. Now, this XLOOKUP formula is something I can use in each of these reference. So instead of using image lookup 1, I can actually use the entire XLOOKUP formula, but then that would become messy. So instead I use the lambda function, and within the lambda function I have used the XLOOKUP function. What this does is in lambda function I pass the value called cell value, and the cell value is then used in the formula. You can see here I have used within XLOOKUP I have used cell value, and here I've used cell value in multiple places. Now how this works is when this image refers to image_1, it calls the formula image lookup in and 1 in parentheses, and this 1 is then passed on to the lambda function, and then cell value becomes 1 for this image, and then it goes, uses the XLOOKUP, fetches the reference for Sherry and shows us the image of Sherry. When it comes to Charles, this value becomes 2, lambda function uses 2 as the value, goes through this list, gets the cell reference B2 and shows us the image of Charles. So this is how this is functioning, and lambda function makes it a lot cleaner to work with. So if you go back to name manager, you'll see that instead of having huge formulas here, I have used a simple image lookup formula and then created a named range called image lookup that has the lambda formula with a variable cell value. So the cell value gets passed on from each of these image_1 or image_2, and then image lookup does all the work. And this is how it works. Now all I've done is I've gone here, selected this, copied this, and then pasted it as an image here. So you can do that by going anywhere, going to the home tab, and here paste it as a linked image. And then you resize this image and it is going to update whenever there is a change here. So let me delete this. And one other thing that I have done is in images, in case there is no data entry, or in case there are only 2 people or 3 people and some of these images need to be empty, then I refer to cell C1. So it is going to show me blank. So this is how I have created this expense calculator. Now I'll quickly go through whether I've used all the elements or not. So I've used dynamic arrays, I've used the lambda function, I've used the cutouts, and I have used the even function. So the value that you see here is actually an even function. If I go back to images, you'll see that this value is an even function, because if you go back here in Power Query, these values could be in decimals as well. But because I want to show these values in nicely rounded up figure, here I have used the even function. So if let's say the value is 28.1, then instead of showing 28.1, it is going to show you 30. So this makes it look a lot better. So I've used all these elements, and based on that, I have created this expense calculator. So that's it in this video. You can download the file and play with it. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the comments. Also, please go ahead and check out the videos by other awesome Excel folks who have participated in this Excel hash challenge. I hope you found this useful. Thank you and have a nice day.